I don't actually spend a lot of time telling people what Dharma is, because Dharma is about an alignment. And while words may nudge you or guide you there, when you're there, you are aware of the answers to your questions. You're connected to something bigger than yourself. And this is not about religion. The thing about religion, and it can be a very useful path, the thing about religion is, by definition, it believes that whatever path it is the only path. And there's many paths. But each religion provides its own path and provides very worthwhile information. And it's up to our discernment to choose which information of which path is going to work for us. And it's our privilege to get to experiment with those tools and different paths to see what works for us. And often, different tools and different paths can work even for the same person at different times in our journey. So the difference between karma and dharma, some differences, are that karmic states involve a lot of frustration, whether we're admitting it in the moment or whether we're showing it in the moment. They involve frustration because what we are truly wanting is not yet aligning with what we are experiencing, because we are in the midst of getting the opportunity, the blessed opportunity, to learn the difference between our actions and our perceptions, and their trajectory, where we're headed, where we're focused, where we're aiming, versus where we wish we were. Another difference between karma and dharma is, while we're in a karmic state, we have more of a tendency to blame others. When we're in a dharmic state, we may recognize that patterns seemingly outside of ourselves are facilitating things to line up, or not facilitating things to line up in such a way that our true highest desires are not feeling met by our current perceived circumstances. When we are in a karmic focus, that is a focus from a viewpoint of a lesson not yet learned, it seems like the world is being created independent of our actions and our focus, at least in part. Whereas in a dharmic state, we recognize that everything in the universe is conspiring to help us. Everything is trying to teach us a lesson, not punish us, but teach us a lesson so that we can better align our desires with our actions and focus. Now, this may sound really boring, but it's everything. If you think of someone walking down the street, and eventually they realize that because they keep turning the same direction over and over, they are walking in circles, and they are simultaneously frustrated that they're not getting to something that would require them crossing the street, which is not happening because they are walking in circles. It doesn't really matter if those circles are to the right or to the left. It just matters that they're walking in circles, but wanting to get someplace outside, beyond that current circle. That could be a way of looking at going from a karmic state to a dharmic state. Now, we can move between these two states, between states of less alignment and more alignment. This is not an all or nothing thing. And being in Dharma may mean helping each other, teaching each other, because we're still all connected, right? May mean helping others to see things more clearly. But it does not mean pretending we're helping others while browbeating them, while Bible thumping them, while telling someone else that their path is less valid because it's not the path that we took. Now, we can share knowledge, but the thing is, others always have something to teach us. Even if some or a lot of the time, what they're teaching us is that we don't want to do that. We don't want to be in the state that that person's in because we recognize it as not in alignment with our goals and desires. That's different from pointing the finger of blame at others all of the time, or some of the time, or even sometimes, when it's for the purpose of refusing to look at the mysteries undiscovered within ourselves, to look at our own shadows, to love our own shadows, because then we're not afraid of them, and then we don't have to project them outside of ourselves. The shadow is just the undiscovered part of ourselves. If that intrigues you or scares you, either one, I would highly, highly recommend you check out some Jung, J-U-N-G. Does it have any? I think it's just J-U-N-G in Romanized spelling. He does a lot of pretty deep dig into the shadows. You can dig probably further than most humans would would want or desire to dig. He went pretty far into exploring his own shadow. It's kind of scary, but the intro to intermediate sections of that, I really feel like should be mandatory in school. People would be a lot kinder to each other if they were less afraid of their own shadows. If we were less afraid of our own shadows. It's really important to me that no matter how many journeys I take, no matter how many lessons I learn, that I never get pretentious. That I never forget what a hot mess I've been at various points. That I always appreciate the things that seem like struggles at the time, that were opportunities for me to strengthen and grow, and most importantly, understand more about myself and about love of myself and the love of self that was facilitated by learning and growing with others, through others' choices, even though some of those choices did not feel comfortable at the time, and some of those choices were certainly not aligned with my highest path. Not only my own choices, but the choices of others. The funny thing is, it all conspires towards our highest paths when we just let go. And when we cling out of fear, it blocks us from connecting with the truth, with the universe, with unconditional love. And it blocks us from our Dharma, from our connection to alignment with the universe, from connecting from a place of alignment with the truth of the love and wisdom of the universe. And I know this can be super triggery for a lot of people. I would ask you to come back to it. If you trigger, save it for later and come back to it. Sit through as much as you can. These words may sound small or mundane, but I went through a lot of discomfort to gather these pieces of knowledge, wisdom, keys, whatever you call them, so that others could suffer less. And there will still be haters, and there will still be people who have so much fear of their own unresolved issues, of their own undiscovered aspects of their self, that the best they can do in the moment is project those fears onto others. And that's okay. It's where they're at in their journey. But these days, the turnaround of those lessons, the transition of those reflections from victim to victor is much faster and can seem much more harsh. So I would highly recommend, if you're feeling uncomfortable, that you start making deeper levels of spiritual, not necessarily religious, not necessarily unreligious, but spiritual, something in here, whatever you want to call it, connection with something bigger than you, whether it's just the stars in the sky, just the stars in the sky. Because there is peace to be found. And once you remember it, once you practice it, once you walk with it, once you truly sit in it, you find you stop wanting to make space for less than peace, for less than love, for less than compassion. You'll have a good night.